Okay, hello everyone. In this video, I'm just going to show you guys how to deploy a microservice in a cluster. So just activate the Cloud Shell in the side by side so that we work on it a little bit. Now we'll have it in a new window so that you're able to see it in a very good manner. Close here, we'll have it here to see you guys see stuff. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Large, okay, yeah, now I think you can see it perfectly. So now what we're going to do is, this is setup. This is the saying that you are in the current project. If this is not the case for you, I highly suggest that you do the code, which just Google set project, Google config, don't forget it because the configuration, config set project space, and then copy the project ID, which is here, copy this and then paste it, and you will be able to see your project highlighted like this. So once this is done, we're going to connect it to the cluster that is running under this project. What should I do for that? Go to the clusters, click this action button, connect. You will have this big code. Just copy, come here, paste, and then enter. Give an authorization. If you know, for connecting with Google Cloud, all of this, we will be using the command which is Google Cloud, which is the Google's cloud. That is what we use to connect, to create the clusters, to manage, to create nodes. But once you are connected to the cluster, and then anything you want to do, for example, deployment purposes, exposing the deployment to the outside world, you use the code which is called as kubectl, which is focused mainly on the Kubernetes technology, which is like the open source. So to deploy, we need to really create a deployment and a service, and I will talk about what is deployment and service a little bit more and why we do that. First, what you're going to do is, I have a code which I will share. You gotta copy and paste. Don't worry about this. Once we do projects, we will understand that. Now, for now, what you're going to show is that I'm going to paste this. So this is the deployment, name of the deployment, and this is the image. This image is already existing, so don't worry about this. This image is Docker image is already existing. We'll talk a little bit more about how to use this. We'll give an enter. Deployment apps created. As you can see, this is perfectly created. And all the deployments you need, you need to use Kubernetes to expose the IP. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get the deployment details, because now just we deployment is being created. We'll just get the details of the deployment, which is, we always use kubectl. Then say get deployment. See, which is ready, 1 update available. This is the age, it's been created 40 seconds ago. Perfect. Now what you're going to do is we're going to expose the deployment to the outside world so that we can access it. So what you do, just do the same thing, which is kubectl expose deployment, and then you give a space, and then you write the name. Write the name of the deployment, space, space. And then what you do is you want to specify the type. Type is equal to type is equal to load balancing. then hyphen, give the port that, because the cluster is by default running in 8080, so we will give 8080. And then now what we're gonna do is we created a service, then we're gonna expose it. We're just gonna hit enter. Hello world service exposed. Perfect. Now we're gonna get the details of the service. If you see, deployment, the same way kubectl, get the details of the service, because we just created a service. Pending, we just give it a couple of minutes so that we get an external IP. Don't worry about this. This is default. When you create a cluster, the service will be created. So don't worry about it too much. So now what I wanted to say is that what and why we created, like for example, when we try to deploy a microservice, I said we create a deployment and a service. So what is that and why? Why is that? Is that when we create a microservice, we need to create a deployment. This deployment is to deploy a microservice deployment. So literally to deploy a microservice, which is deploy a microservice that you're gonna create. And the service is to expose the deployment to the outside world. So this, when you say deployment, so when you create a deployment to deploy a microservice. So when you create this, that's why it says deployment created. So when you create a service, which is service created, is mainly you expose the deployment to the outside world. I hope you understand this. Now we're gonna watch it. I'm sure now we might have got the external IP. We're just gonna see get service information watch. Typo. Again typo. Lots of typo. Services. So this is the IP, perfect, and the port we have it. So we're just gonna copy this. Gonna break this. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a curl, paste, fen 8080, healthy, true. So we're getting it healthy. That's perfect. Now what are we gonna do? We're gonna do this. You slash hello world. See what is coming. So now what we can do is, this is another way, but we can also run it in the tab. So we just tried the curl hello world. So we get the response, which is hello world view version 1, which is what was supposed to come. So this is how you deploy a microservice in Kubernetes. I hope this was helpful. So we'll talk a little bit more about in the upcoming videos in the playlist to get you more understand about the Kubernetes.